With the Civil War raging, President Lincoln prepared for what he knew would be an easy election win. The election wasn't even supposed to take place, but in the United States' almost 100-year history, a presidential election had never been cancelled, and the already unpopular Lincoln sought to show his commitment to democracy by holding quite possibly the least democratic election in American history. The election of 1864 marked a significant time in American history, as it was the first time since 1812 that an election had been held during the ongoing war, with James Madison taking the Oval Office during the War of 1812. Lincoln believed that if he was to postpone the election, it would be fair to assume that the Confederates had conquered the Union. Still, though, the Union had been taking heavy losses in the run-up to the election, including in Mansfield, Louisiana, and Atlanta, Georgia. Ultra-Pete's Democrats, also known as Copperheads, had begun to campaign on the prospect of peace at all costs, which firmly went against Lincoln's ideological-driven approach of winning the war in order to eradicate slavery and unite the states once more. Lincoln was widely unopposed when it came to the Republican nomination. As the sitting president during the war, it seemed unlikely that he would be replaced. There was, however, interestingly, a campaign run by Union General Ulysses Simpson Grant against Lincoln, which would lay the groundworks for Grant to become president after the war would end. Lincoln, therefore, only had to fear the Democrats, who were looking to be stronger in 1864 than had been originally expected. The Democrats, who still held a stronghold in the South, decided it would be best to nominate a Northerner in the 1864 Democratic National Convention. George B. McClellan, the former commanding officer of the U.S. Army and future governor of his home state of New Jersey, rejected the concept of making peace with the Confederacy, which made him unpopular with the typical Democratic voting populace, who believed a peaceful two-state solution was still possible, even as the war began to reach a dramatic climax. McClellan did look as though he had a chance of winning. After the formation of the Radical Democratic Party, which confusingly was actually created by radical Republicans, their leader, John Fremont, appeared to split the Republican vote. This would collapse within months, however, as Fremont would drop out of the race to endorse President Lincoln. Fremont stood strongly against the Democrats, as he believed an America under them would be a union with slavery. And if things weren't already bad enough for McClellan, his own party was against him, as Andrew Johnson was picked by Lincoln to be his running mate, as the two of them formed the National Union Party. Looking at a map from the election, many might assume that Lincoln's success was total. However, it is worth noting that McClellan won a significant proportion of the vote with 45% of the popular vote, which is impressive considering the Democrats' main voter base, the South, was invalidated for this election. Lincoln's success may also boil down to his popularity amongst soldiers who may not have been able to vote themselves, but would have been able to tell their families to vote for Lincoln, as they believed he was the way to end the war and get them back home. Upon his victory in the election, Lincoln claimed that it was evidence that a people's government could survive a civil war. He took his inauguration speech as an opportunity to call for unity in a time which had been so divided for the American people. Lincoln would only go on to live 5 days in the United States of America, as he was shot down by actor John Wilkes Booth on the 14th of April, 1865. Lincoln's infamous assassination marked a change in American politics, as his Vice President, Andrew Johnson, took the oath of allegiance and began what many people believed to be the most disastrous presidency in the history of the United States.